Christmas night, 2024. I had just eaten an entire bag of steak strips, along with a box of Mike and Ike's, and drank half a 2-liter of Mountain Dew. And in that testosterone-filled sugar high, I decided to play through today's game all in one sitting. Nightmare of Decay is an awesome indie game made by Checkmatey. It's basically just a spin on the first Resident Evil setting and even some of its mechanics. However, it is very much its own game. Very well done at that. I come back to this game at least twice a year, and this time I just so happen to have OBS open. And the rest is history. This run only took like 2 hours, so this may be a shorter video. Okay, enough jabbering, let's start. The game begins with a news reporter speaking in what I can only describe as a cross between The Sims and Charlie Brown's teacher's language. He tells us about a girl who had recently gone missing, and how the police have no leads on the case. Alright, that's enough TV for one night. Time to eat some pizza. Nice. Shower and go to bed. But before going to bed, the TV suddenly turns on, and right after turning it off again, a big old nasty happy guy appears behind us, holding what is presumably the missing girl's head. But clearly this is just a normal occurrence, because instead of calling the police or arming myself, I just decided to go to bed. Now that's a mood. Now we can actually begin. I wake up in a coffin and clamber my way out. A scream pierces the eerie silence. It gets me every damn time. The front door is locked, which means I have to find another way in. Luckily, there's a staircase nearby along with a cat who starts talking to me. A talking cat? It's not very encouraging. Kinda rude, to be honest. At the bottom of the stairs lays a knife and a pool of blood. It's a horror game, so I'll be using it very shortly. What did I say? Let me say this now. Don't ever use this knife on enemies after this encounter. You'll just get yourself seriously injured, if not killed. The zombies in this game can lock you into position, similar to Dying Light, only there's no button to mash. Instead, pick up the pistol. It'll be the workhorse of the game. Like I said, it takes a spin on Resident Evil. You can save your game with these record books. There are plenty scattered throughout the manor. Going through the door on the right takes you into a dining room, where the first objective sits, a plaque with 3 missing tokens sitting above the fireplace. Heading into the room closest to the fireplace will present you with a chemistry set. Interesting. The first thing I did was explore every room that I could.
We'll be right back.
Eventually stumbling across a shotgun. This will be your heavy-duty sweeper. And hey look, a trial run! This thing bursts heads like watermelon. It's so satisfying. Going upstairs, I spot a grandfather clock with a key in it. We'll come back to that. If you push this ladder over to this vent, you'll unlock a save room. Pretty handy early game. I find the first token in the laundry room after coming across the cat from earlier. After more pessimistic talk, I pick up the token, and all the bodies in the room reanimate. Nice try, dick. But I grabbed the shotgun first. Let's take a quick break. The Nightmare isn't all bloodstains and bone marrow. It's home to a couple of minigames, like this one for example. It has 3 reward tiers. We're getting all 3. Told you. By the way, you are able to keep the BB gun, but don't expect it to do you any favors. Now then, back to the story. I found my hungry ass in the kitchen looking for some food, but instead I found someone locked in the pantry. The man asks for our help, to which I agree. Fuckers. To get the key, pick up this bloody sack and drop it down the dumbwaiter sitting next to the vent with the ladder. Boom, simple. Going back down into the kitchen, we're met not with a person, but a fucking meat golem? It'll materialize after grabbing the second token. The shotgun can make quick work of it. Just be careful, as firing will slow the player dramatically. Once it's killed, it'll drop the pantry key, where you can unlock this chest and get some rewards. The final token was in this bedroom upstairs. I had just missed it the first time. Placing all three correctly will give you the club key. Going into the first club room that's tucked away upstairs, the key to the grandfather clock sits on a table. The pool table in the middle displays a hint. Alright. Great. Now we have the spade key, which grants us access to another section of the manor. The second room I unlocked with the club key is home to a creature that resides within the wall. It's asking for help, just like the meat golem. It wants 3 fresh female heads, and against my better judgment, I chose to help. Head number 1 was in the pantry. Venturing deeper into the previously locked section, in this hallway sits a fleshy growth blocking the diamond key. Just around the corner sits a room with statues. Looks like a puzzle to me. Looks like it requires a square crank and a hexagon crank. I'll be seeing you soon. I came across the library, which was host to a couple of fellas with guns. They're very reminiscent of Resident Evil 4's Ganados. I'm pretty sure they're even cursing me in Spanish. Just like before, I checked out every room that I could, coming across a headless lady who was standing behind you in a mirror, and a square crank in the process. There is one door that requires a diamond key. Okay, I'll be back. Checking out the library some more, I find a chest tucked under the stairs where I get attacked by a Super Mario 64 type fucking creature. What the fuck? It was at this point where I realized I had picked up all 3 jars of chemicals, so I ran downstairs and whipped up some acid in which I used to melt this fleshy growth, which granted me with the diamond key. Going into the locked room upstairs makes you watch this poor guy off himself. Hey, a magnum, sweet! And a key to the shack that sits out back. A drunken man is drinking his sorrows away when I walk in. He explains that, just like me, he'd woken up here after falling asleep. After waking up, he locked himself in here to escape from some rabid dogs outside, going so far as to even ignore another survivor's cry for help. In the next room sits a hexagon crank.
Bueno, gentes.
That's rough, buddy. Really? Shotgunners now? Using both cranks, I'm able to complete the statue puzzle, which unlocks the crown. Now it's time for the game's first real hurdle. You think the meat golem was bad? Well, you clearly haven't come up against the knights. These fuckers come to life after placing the crown on the bust. These 3 destroyed me in my first run. But this isn't my first run. Now we're in the basement, where zombies litter the halls, doors are chained shut, and a second minigame waits. I don't know if it was the overconfidence or the fact that I was high, but I was not doing so hot on this one. It took me a couple of tries, but I got it. Another fleshy growth sits between these generators. It's blocking a pair of bolt cutters, so now I have to go even deeper and into the sewers. Thankfully, there was a convenient drum of acid just sitting here. Going through the first chain door by the elevator will trigger an encounter with a crazy lady with a knife. She'll go into a frenzy if you alarm her. Unfortunately, she has something I need. Her head. Great, one more to go. Ready for another boss fight? Arguably the most frantic boss fight. The crazy chainsaw man will full on run towards you and one-hit you. The only way to beat him is to blow up these generators when he's close, which will send him into a pain state and cause this growth to pop out of his back. The Magnum is great for this. Be sure to pick up the bloody wardrobe key in the room he came out of. It unlocks 2 separate wardrobes, one that's hiding a hole in the wall, and the one upstairs. Thank you. Unlike the meat golem, the wall creature wasn't lying. It gives us health potions, magnum ammo, and even 2 vials of holy water. I'll be saving those for later. What's up, asshole? Yeah, you and me both. The catacombs are home to some new enemies, those being skeletons, spiders, whatever the fuck these are. This poor bastard almost gets the jump on these 2, but it doesn't work out. The shotgunner takes off with a token. I'll be needing that, bub. Dumbass leads me straight to it. Then he gets split in half by a giant spider. The spider is the least scary boss. It makes the meat golem look like a Dark Souls boss. Well, that's one down. By the way, these tokens are used to unlock gates that hold other tokens. Love it. I like a challenge. Now we're talking. This little shit right here was honest to God the hardest boss in the game. That's until I learned I can stun lock it. Seriously though, I almost fucking died. One more token. The last one is in the flooded wine cellar where a goddamn regenerator's waiting. What the fuck, man? Hey, remember when I mentioned that zombies can lock you into position? Yeah, I fell victim to it. All of my health potions and medkits, gone. Placing all square tokens will raise the bridge leading into the room, which is clearly gearing you up for a boss fight. Time to equip that holy water. The final boss of the game is a bit underwhelming, mostly due to my previous experience. Now this actually looks like a Dark Souls boss, even down to the fucking stance. The fucking confidence, the balls on this guy. He'll summon skeletons and shoot balls of death at you. He can certainly be a challenge, but not for me. Returning to the real world, I wake up in a cold sweat, and unable to go back to sleep, I decide to go on a walk. But after stepping out into the hallway, I spot a familiar cat.